You love hiking, camping, or just hanging out in the backyard? I totally get it. Me too. But there's an invisible threat lurking in the grass right now, and it's literally changing how we have to approach the great outdoors. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a tiny pest that's driving a massive health crisis. We'll look at exactly how dangerous it is, and most importantly, how you can easily and safely protect yourself and your family. So, picture this. You're walking through a beautiful, lush park. What is out there, right now, roughly the size of a single poppy seed on a bagel, yet responsible for a record-breaking health crisis all across North America? Take a guess.
If you guessed a tick, you hit the nail on the head. Specifically, the black-legged tick nymph. Just look at the sheer scale of the problem next to a standard dime. A tick nymph is only about 1 to 1.5 millimeters wide. They are shockingly small. They're practically invisible to the naked eye if you aren't actively hunting for them, which makes them incredibly tough to spot on your skin or your clothes.
Let's get into Section 1, the invisible summer threat.
Despite their microscopic size, these little arachnids are becoming a massive, growing issue, especially in places like Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and stretching right across the border. We really have to understand what we're up against if we're going to stay safe. So here's how they operate. The nymph stage, which is that poppy seed size, is actually the most dangerous because they're just so easily missed. Now, the adults are a bit larger, maybe 3 to 4 millimeters, kind of like a sesame seed. And here's the thing, they don't jump and they don't fly. Instead, they do this creepy thing called questing. They basically climb up to the top of tall grasses or low bushes, hold on to the leaves with their back legs, and stretch their front legs out like they're waiting for a tiny hug. They literally just wait for a host, like a deer, a dog, or you, to brush past them so they can latch on.
Which brings us to Section 2, why ticks are surging right now.
Now, you might be wondering why it feels like you're hearing about ticks way more now than you did, say, 10 years ago. Well, you're not imagining things. Just look at this data point. In 2025, there were roughly 7,105 cases of Lyme disease reported in Canada alone. That is the highest number ever recorded, up significantly from previous years. The tick population is absolutely booming, and with it, the diseases they carry are spreading at a frankly alarming record pace.
So what's driving this? Well, the main culprit is climate change. We're seeing shorter, milder winters, which basically allows ticks to survive and expand way further north outside their historical ranges. Actually, ticks are active anytime the temperature is about freezing, just 0 degrees Celsius. Add to that migratory birds carrying them across borders and the expanding populations of white-footed mice and deer, which are the ticks' main food sources. And get this, a single white-footed mouse can feed thousands of ticks in its short lifetime. Thousands!
Okay, moving on to Section 3, the dangers of Lyme disease.
I want to keep this super factual and informative for you. Now, not every tick carries Lyme disease. In some hotspots, it's up to 50% of black-legged ticks, while in other areas, it's maybe 20 to 25%. But if you are bitten by an infected tick, the consequences can be pretty serious. You can see the classic bullseye rash on the left there. It looks like a red ring expanding around the bite. But on the right, you'll see atypical blotchy rashes. And here's the really scary catch. Only about 70% of people who get Lyme disease will develop a rash at all. You could be fully infected and completely miss this visual warning sign.
So if you don't get a rash, you really need to watch for early localized symptoms. These usually pop up between 3 to 30 days after you've been exposed. We're talking profound fatigue, muscle and joint aches, nasty headaches, and fever or chills. If you leave it untreated, Lyme disease can progress into a really debilitating long-term condition that folks often call long Lyme. This can lead to persistent fatigue, cognitive impairment, and widespread muscle and joint pain.
But don't panic. Let's get into Section 4, how to protect yourself.
Please, whatever you do, do not let this keep you locked indoors all summer. Avoiding ticks is highly manageable. Right before you hit the trail, just run through this quick, easy checklist. First, stay in the center of marked trails and try to avoid brushing up against tall grasses or leaf litter. Second, wear light-colored clothing. It doesn't magically repel the ticks, but it makes spotting those tiny dark specks so much easier. Third, it's time to embrace the nerd tuck. Tuck your shirt into your pants and tuck your pants right into your socks. It creates a physical barrier so ticks can't crawl under your clothes. And finally, spray exposed skin and outer clothing with a bug spray containing DEET or icaridin.
Now, if you want an extra layer of defense, you can also look into permethrin-treated clothing. Permethrin is an insecticide that basically irritates the tick the second it crawls onto the fabric, causing it to just fall off before it can even try to bite you. It's totally approved by health agencies for people over 16, and it's even safe for pregnant women.
It is a fantastic tool to have in your arsenal if you spend a lot of time out in the deep woods.
All right, Section 5, Post-Hike Tick Checks.
So you've had a great hike, and now you're back home. Listen, what you do in the first few hours after walking through your front door is absolutely critical. You want to follow these 3 steps religiously. Step 1, grab a mirror or a partner and do a full body check. Ticks love warm, hidden spots, so you've got to check your groin, your scalp, your armpits, your belly button, and right behind your knees. Step 2, hop in the shower within 2 hours of getting home. This helps wash away any loose ticks that might just be wandering around on your skin. And step 3, this is a really big one, throw your hiking clothes directly into the dryer on high heat for at least 10 minutes before you wash them. Ticks can actually survive a spin in the washing machine, no problem, but that intense dry heat will kill them instantly.
Moving on to our final section, Section 6, Safe Removal and Testing.
Okay, let's prepare for the worst-case scenario. Despite your absolute best efforts, you found an attached tick. First things first, stay calm. The tick generally needs to be attached for over 24 hours to actually transmit the Lyme disease bacteria, so acting quickly is heavily in your favor. If you spot this dark-legged, reddish-orange tick attached to you, that's the black-legged tick or deer tick. We need to get it off right away.
But before you do anything, let's clear up a very dangerous myth. Never ever try to drown a tick in petroleum jelly. And please, do not apply nail polish remover or a hot match to it. Doing that just irritates the tick and can actually cause it to regurgitate its stomach contents, along with any nasty bacteria, directly into your bloodstream. The fact is, you have to manually remove it.
Here's the proper, safe way to do it. Grab a pair of clean, fine-tip tweezers. Grasp the tick as close to your skin's surface as you possibly can. Then just pull straight up with steady, even pressure. Do not twist or jerk it. You really don't want to break the mouth parts off in your skin, and try your hardest not to crush the tick's body. Once it's out, thoroughly wash the bite area and your hands with soap and water, then disinfect it with a little rubbing alcohol. And whatever you do, don't throw the tick away. Save it in a sealed container or a tiny plastic baggie.
Now, why save it? Because you might need to get it tested. And what's really important to know here is a recent shift in public policy. Public health units in places like Ontario and right across the Atlantic provinces no longer test ticks on behalf of patients. Ticks have just become so endemic that health units only monitor them for high-level geographic surveillance. So if you want to know if the specific tick that bit you is carrying pathogens like Lyme or Babesia, you're going to need to mail it to a private lab like genetics. Getting those lab results quickly can give your doctor crucial information to start a short, highly effective course of antibiotics before you even develop antibodies.
Look, our environment is changing, and ticks are just an unfortunate reality of that shift. But as we've seen today, they absolutely do not have to ruin our summers. As you think about your next outdoor adventure, I want to leave you with this. How will you adapt your routine to safely coexist with nature? It really just takes a few simple steps, a quick spray, a mindful clothing choice, and a post-hike spin in the dryer to keep you and your family safe. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Stay vigilant, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.